Hello. Welcome to the She Self-Invested podcast. I'm your host, Lodisha, a confidence and mindset coach, helping women invest into their self-image in and outside of relationships. Stay tuned to get your daily dose of emotional independence. Hello, ladies. Welcome back to the She Self-Invested podcast. I'm your host, Lodisha, and today will be an empowering episode. Before we get started, I wanted to update you about my personal life. I recently got the opportunity to volunteer and work at South by Southwest. As I previously stated, I work in the film industry, but I also wanted to challenge myself to work in live events. I was so excited when I received the call to do AV work for the week of South by. I've been trying to attend this festival for years, but something always seems to happen. They say God's timing is perfect, and let's just say it was right on time, okay? I met some of the most amazing people in my life. Sitting through those panels and listening to these female entrepreneurs tell their stories, it was liberating. It made me feel that I was on the right track and was exactly where and who I needed to be. One of the women that took me by surprise was Kimberly Seals Allers. She was one of the only Black femtech panelists, and her vibe was unmatched. She spoke passionately about her concern for the racial disparities women of color face during pregnancy and motherhood. If any of you are currently expecting, I recommend you download Kimberly app called Earth, where you can find prenatal, birthing, postpartum, and pediatric care reviews from other Black and brown women. I learned so much about motherhood within an hour of listening to her speak. She's such a lighthouse, ladies. I had to follow her on Instagram to keep up with her. I thought honoring her on Women's Empowerment Wednesday was only suitable. So now you ladies see why I didn't release an episode last week. I'm going to be honest and say that I was a bit ambitious with the She Self-Invested podcast. In my initial episode, I stated I would have female entrepreneurs on Wednesdays and release solo episodes on Fridays. Things haven't been going as I planned. That's why I always say to have a plan for a plan, okay? So, moving forward, on days that I don't have a female host, I still plan to target women who can empower us and then move on to a topic. The final update before we start the episode is that I will be rebranding soon. Yes, my mission for this podcast is to give you ladies specific and tangible information that you can use in your daily lives. That requires me to dig deeper and determine who will receive the most significant ROI on the She Self-Invested podcast. It's challenging because I can relate to many different topics, people, and situations, but I believe that's taken away from my value and purpose for this show. So, look forward to some changes in the future, and I hope that I can speak directly to you and your concerns. My mission is to be as authentic with you all as possible, and I can only do that if I'm being honest with myself. Now that I've updated you, it's time to get into today's topic. In this episode, we will discuss the signs of a high-value woman. Average women make decisions based on who they are now. The high-value woman makes decisions based on who she wants to be. Unknown. This quote speaks so much volume to today's topic because it cultivates the importance of being clear on who you are becoming. When we have a dream or a vision, we must make the right decisions to get us there. That requires holding yourself up to a higher value. Having high values can come into play in your career, business, and relationships. Here are the 5 signs of a high value woman. The first sign is knowing your worth. Whew. This is very important because with self-worth, we can avoid losing ourselves in relationships, missing out on career opportunities, or giving up on our business endeavors. According to the American Psychological Association, your self-worth is your evaluation of yourself as a capable and valuable human deserving of consideration and respect. It is an internal sense of being worthy of love. You know your self-worth is high when you don't allow yourself to settle for low-value men. I mean those who lack ambition, purpose, or goals. The guy who isn't supportive of your dreams. The one who feels like you are too ambitious. I remember one of the guys I dated told me that being too ambitious isn't a good thing. Mind you, he was the same person who didn't take risks and was okay with living a 9-to-5 lifestyle because it was safe. Now, no judgment to whomever desires to live that kind of life, but that wasn't the lifestyle I had in mind. I almost questioned myself thinking that what if the life I wanted was merely a dream? I remember telling myself to keep going. I ended it with him because he wasn't adding value to my goals and was only depreciating it with his limiting beliefs in himself. Some people can unknowingly shame you because of your desire to grow. He knew that if I grew, I would push him to do the same. That's why it's so important to know your self-worth and to stay true to your value and morals no matter who comes into your life. By understanding your worth, you soon attract like-minded individuals who are also aware of theirs. The second sign of a high-value woman is her commitment to growth. I love this sign because it shows a woman's dedication to investing into herself. A high-value woman doesn't take the life that was given to her by chance. She lives her life by choice. This woman challenges herself to learn new things daily. She enjoys reading books, traveling, meeting new people, and immersing herself in art. She loves finding new hobbies and habits to help her become the best version of herself. When committing to growth, you build a deep and meaningful relationship with yourself. Before I started getting into personal development, I used to be extremely lazy. I didn't care to read books because I would rather scroll on Instagram. I traveled with my family for fun and to create memories. I wasn't concerned about learning about people or making lifelong connections. Regarding hobbies, I don't even believe I had any besides work and school. Investing in myself never crossed my mind because I always had other distractions. I would go out to clubs and bars, hang out with my friends, or spend time with my boyfriend if I had one. It wasn't until I decided to take time off from dating that I decided to commit to my personal growth fully, and that decision changed my life. I now have new hobbies such as reading, journaling, wine dancing, singing, cooking, and spending time in nature. Whew, I love me some nature. I uncovered who I was underneath the false self by committing to my growth. Never underestimate the importance of spending time with you. Like George Bernard Shaw said, life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. The third sign of a high-value woman is kindness. I love this sign because being kind is so underestimated. If you find yourself displaying kindness with everyone you encounter, whether it's a stranger, an Uber driver, or someone you meet in a grocery store, you have the trait of a high value woman. People don't realize that being kind reflects how you treat yourself. If you constantly say loving words to yourself, you will naturally reflect that to others. Treating someone with kindness is based on having respect. When you show up as this kind and compassionate woman, you set off this beacon of light that you are approachable. I have to tell people all the time that I am not nice. I am kind. It is a difference. No, those two words aren't the same thing. According to the dictionary, kindness is defined as the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate. Being nice is doing something that is pleasing or agreeable to others. Being kind has to do more with the person being genuine instead of being a people pleaser. The fourth sign of a high value woman is her ability to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is a touchy topic because some people can relate being vulnerable to being weak, when that is the complete opposite. Being vulnerable requires being emotionally brave, even if it might feel risky or scary. Vulnerability allows you to be transparent and authentic with people you love, and it enables them to do the same. Instead of allowing fear to control your emotions and relationships, you risk disappointment or letdown to achieve connection, intimacy, and trust. Being vulnerable goes hand in hand with having emotional independence. It's you putting yourself in difficult situations, knowing that you can still regulate your emotions if things don't go as planned. Being vulnerable allows you to have faith in yourself, no matter the outcome. The last sign of a high value woman is self-love. Self-love has got to be one of my favorite signs because being self-love sets the tone for how others treat you. Let me say this again. Having self-love sets the tone for how others treat you. A high-value woman has a strong self-image of herself. She feels positive about her body, personality, and intelligence. By being self-love, you can set higher standards for your relationship, career, and life purpose. Having a solid self-belief can benefit you in unsuccessful relationships. So that means if someone's trying to gaslight you, manipulate, or treat you unkindly, your self-love is going to show up like, hold up, what's going on here? We don't do that over here. This is not how I talk to myself. This isn't how I treat myself. So your self-love may help you know when it's time to leave, aka your intuition. Building self-love may take time, especially if you are used to codependent relationships. Oh my gosh, I am telling on myself in this episode. Self-love was so difficult for me because I struggled to communicate my needs with the guys that I dated. I used to make excuses for how they treated me, or I would blame it on their upbringing. In reality, they didn't love themselves. And obviously neither did I if I decided to stick around in a unloving relationship. I soon decided I was done settling for low-value men and starting putting that extra love into myself. We as women can sometimes feel guilty for the guys that we date. It is so common. Like, we come up with this stigma that we hope that they will change one day, or we say things like, he has potential. But the real question is, what about you? Are you forcing this relationship to work because you've invested years? Or what about because you two have kids together? Or is it comfortability? No matter your reason, no matter your excuse, if you know deep down inside that you are unhappy with this person, you're not feeling love, you're not feeling valued, you're not feeling appreciated, then those are the signs that that person is not for you. And it's also a sign that it's time for you to maybe do the work, right? Because I believe that we are what we reflect. So if we are reflecting unkindness, that to the point where someone is like talking down on us or belittling us, calling us out of our name, or we're experiencing some form of emotional abuse, it's time to dig deep and ask like, well, how am I talking to myself, right? Because once again, how you talk to yourself reflects how other people talk to you and treat you. The key to attracting the right man into your life is building self-love, raising your standards, and staying true to your values. High value women know they don't have to settle for less because they are priceless, okay? They are. Those are the 5 signs of a high value woman. I hope that some of them align with you. However, if you don't align with any, doesn't mean that you don't have value. That means nothing. Just by you being a woman makes you valuable. Finding value in yourself is up to you. That takes time. It takes growth. It takes commitment. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of work. It isn't something that happens overnight. And it's not that it takes time or work. You have to see yourself as valuable. How you perceive yourself, once again, is how other people is going to perceive you. You can't expect people to just see you and think, oh my gosh, she's such a valuable woman. So it like you have to show up like, I am this high value woman, right? We need confidence behind our step, behind our walk. So with that being said, high value is a label you can choose to identify yourself with. And remember, being high value starts and ends with you. Being a woman of value helps you maintain your emotional independence, despite what challenges you may face. Having emotional freedom benefits you in relationships, careers, and life choices. Thank you, ladies, for listening. I will see you in the next episode. Please subscribe to this podcast to get your daily dose of emotional independence. And follow me on Instagram for updates at sheself_invested. Leave a comment and let me know how you felt about today's topic. Remember to stay invested. Most importantly, stay self-invested. And don't forget, you don't have to do this alone. So let's invest together. Talk to you soon.